Hi, it's Margaret Blade. You've come to the right place to find out about Buddhism and discuss questions that come up while awakening the Buddha within you. Recently, I've received a number of questions on how to chant about complex problems. In this vlog, I'm going to take one of them to look at different ways you might chant for the problem. In this discussion, I'm going to take apart the different elements of this question to show how you can chant for it in a variety of ways. Then we're going to discuss the steps needed as you chant for a goal and have an experience illustrating this. Here's the problem. I've given names for clarity. Susan has been chanting for a dear friend, Amy. Amy married a man who had 4 small children. Being the caring person she is, she raised and loved those 4 girls from diapers to adulthood as if they were her own children. When their father went off with their best friend and they had a messy divorce, the girls walked away as if my friend was nothing. They said horrible things about her. Apparently, their father had been telling them lies about Amy the whole marriage. My friend was devastated. The divorce was 10 years ago, and only one girl has had any contact with her at all whenever she needs money. Amy gives it to her, even if it causes her financial difficulties. The girls are all now married with children of their own. To Amy, these girls will always be her children and their children her grandchildren. She wants to see them. I hate to see someone I love in such pain, so how can I chant that these girls realize what my friend did for them, and if not love her, at least appreciate her and treat her with respect and kindness? Susan's going to need to set positive goals for specific issues. She could chant for each of the issues one at a time. This would take a lot of time and effort, as she would be trying to change another person's behavior. If she decides to go this route, she should envision a clear, positive goal for each issue and envision it as already accomplished. The first issue, she would be responding to the untruths told about Amy. The way she could chant about it would be to envision the girls realizing Amy's caring and compassion. For her second issue, Susan might chant for actions she could take that would help resolve the situation. For the third issue, Susan might chant for a positive resolution to the estrangement. She might chant while seeing the girls, their children, their husbands, and Amy enjoying time together. Another way to approach a problem like this would be for Susan to look at all of the issues together and see if there's a common thread. In this question, each of the issues is making Amy unhappy, and it seems that above all, Susan wants her friend to be happy. Looking at it from this angle, she could chant for Amy's happiness. When you have a complex problem like this, be open. The solution can come in many ways. Susan appears to be making the assumption that the only way Amy can become happy is if these girls change. But that may not be the case at all. If her friend let go of the issue as something she cannot control and moved on to make her life satisfying regardless, she could become happy, whether or not the girls change. So when chanting about an issue, don't restrict the solution to just one path or one resolution. When you chant about an issue like this, you want to be open to anything that might happen and have the faith that it's possible. Sometimes the resolution to a problem comes from a completely unexpected source. I want to share a marvelous experience with you that illustrates this point. Bob was just starting his practice when this experience took place. He joined a company with the promise that the manager was going to retire in a few months, and he was going to take over the managership. Until then, he shared a very small office with his boss, about the size of a bathroom, and it turned out that this man was terribly negative. Bob found himself constantly trying to think of ways to get out of the office, and he wasn't even sure he could remain in his new situation. Troubled, he went to get guidance about the situation from a senior leader in the Buddhist community. He was told, "Chant for your boss's happiness." Bob thought this was crazy advice, but he'd asked for it, so he started to chant for his boss's happiness. At that time, his company finances were handled by listing everything in handwritten ledgers. Bob wanted to automate the process as computers were coming in. He got permission to go ahead with the project. He continued to chant for his boss's happiness. As he looked further and further into the finances of the company, he realized that there were large amounts of money that were being handled by his boss, yet they never turned up at the end of the month when the finances were reconciled. He realized with a sense of dread that his boss was embezzling from the company. Now he started chanting really hard for his boss's happiness because he knew the consequences could be dire. He spent much more time in front of the Gohansen. Bob went to a higher up in the company who initially didn't want to do anything. Finally, Bob told him either they were going to deal with the issue or he was going to leave the company. There was a difficult Saturday morning meeting where his boss was confronted about the missing cash. He admitted the embezzlement. Since it had been going on for so many years and it could make the company look bad if it got out, the board told his boss to resign. They would not prosecute. Sometime later, Bob asked about his former boss. An employee who knew him told Bob she had never seen her former employer so happy. Bob was blown away. He realized that his boss's negativity came from a deep sense of guilt and fear of being discovered. He could never have imagined the scenario that had to take place for his boss to become happy. He says, "From then on, I was in as far as Buddhism was concerned." When you chant about an issue that appears to contain many problems to its resolution, turn your attention away from dwelling on the problems and refocus on the solution. You may have to do this many times a day, as looking for problems is a habit. And be patient. Some problems as this one have many aspects which must resolve before there can be a resolution. Keep on chanting until your goal is reached, and settle in for however much time is needed, except that it might not be in your timeline. In summary, in this vlog we discussed the following: how to set positive goals for specific parts of the problem, how to find a common thread that links all the parts together, the importance of being open and not making a predetermination of how your goal will come about, with an experience to illustrate why, how to stop dwelling on the problems and refocus on the positive outcome, being patient, and chanting until your goal is reached. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Leave a comment with something you'd like to see discussed, or anything else for that matter. I have some posts on my website on different aspects of chanting that you might find helpful. They're called, "Are you sure you really are chanting for what you want? Are you missing a step when chanting for a goal? Do you know why it's important to forge your mind of faith?" My next topic is going to be, do you know why it's important to set a positive goal? I hope this was useful to you, and I'll see all of you in a couple of weeks.